putting someone in jail actually helps the child, because in South Carolina, in some jail surveys that were recently done, roughly 1 out of every 8 inmates is being held because of unpaid child support. And I know some of you are like, well, yeah, they deserve to be held because of unpaid child support. And this is where I will disagree with you, because on you for child support is not a crime. I know some people have been led to believe that they mean that much to the world and that's their child. And if you don't pay for their child, you should go to jail. I don't agree with that. Because somebody owes you money, you think they should go to jail? What if that same logic was applied to the bills that you owe right now, the people who you owe? What if the companies who you owe, who you're dodging, who you refuse to pay, what if they could go and file something and put you in jail because you owe them money? Because this is essentially what it is. And I know you're going to say, oh, this is a child. This is that person's child. The fact that that person owes you money doesn't change the fact that that's that person's child. Okay. It's not a criminal charge. It's something that's called civil contempt of court. Okay. And we'll get back to that. But first, let's discuss how this system works. How does a person end up in jail for child support, right? And what usually happens in this process is a parent falls behind on child support payments. Court issues a rule to show cause, meaning the person has to come into the court and explain why they have not paid, right? And that's where a lot of people they don't show up to court. So when you see folks with these charges, contempt of family court, this is where that charge stems from. Okay. And so what happens is the judge then, if the person shows up, the judge then looks at the situation and decides whether the person had the ability to pay but chose not to, or whether the person just couldn't pay. If the judge believes the person could not have paid it and didn't, the court can fine them in contempt of court. And here's the key point. The jail system isn't technically for the jail sentence isn't technically for the debt itself. The jail sentence is for disobeying a court order. So legally, the system says you're not being locked up for owing the money. You're being locked up because the court believes you ignored the court's order. So when you don't show up and you don't answer it, that's what you're being locked up for, right? Constitutionally, you cannot be locked up for a debt. Think about what I said earlier. Some of the people that got people locked up in jail, what if that same logic was applied to your bills, the people that you owe? What if instead of sending somebody to knock on your door and collect that furniture that you got from Rent-A-Center that you couldn't pay for, what if they came and collected you because you couldn't pay a debt? Now we can get into, oh, that person shouldn't make children if they can't afford to take them. You should be more responsible who you make children with. If you think child support is helping them children, you're just being a selfish person, using the system to exact some scorned feelings by somebody who was hurt in a dysfunctional relationship. All right. So again, that's a key thing that you guys need to understand, because again, if you don't have the ability to pay, you just don't have the ability to pay. But in most cases that I've seen, um, the defendant, the person on child support, doesn't have any representation. And so, out of fear and ignorance, and again, you got to remember, ignorance to the law is no excuse. They don't show up. Okay, so technically, the jail sentence is not for the debt itself. The jail sentence is for disobeying the court order. Which brings me back to the question. Should a person be jailed because they can't pay child support? And technically, they're not being jailed because they can't pay child support. They're being jailed because they ignore the court order to come to court. I mean, even with that being said, 13.2% of the inmates in South Carolina were incarcerated for unpaid child support. Again, that's where that 1 in 8 number comes in. Overall, over the state, you're looking at over 130,000 active child support cases statewide. Again, this and there's all different reasons why people end up in or at the child support place. But for the people, for the women or men who, and I'm talking about cases where these kids are 30, 40 years old. And it's just, are you still that mad about whatever happened? Like, the person didn't have the ability to take care. The person didn't take care of themselves, let alone you and a child. And they don't have the ability to do it now. So you saying that keeping them locked up, just keep this over their head. Keep this debt over their head. Keep this debt that ruins their credit, don't have the ability to get a license. Some of these people find themselves in a position where they on the bottom, bro. And so, keep this on top of them. Because, let's think about it. The average low wage job, when we talking, $10, $15 an hour type deal, 40-hour job, you're looking at $1,800 a month. Okay. You can say between 18 and 2,000 if you want. Child support order for $600, $600 to $900. Okay. Plus that person has to house themselves, plus utilities. So you're looking at between $800 and $1,000. So you put them numbers together. You just say, let's take the two low numbers, right? Let's go on both low end. So you got $800 for rent. And that's just rent. That's not talking utilities or anything else. That's just talking rent. Maybe that camera's on 4K and that's what's causing it. I don't know. I'm going to have to see. But maybe that's just rent that you're talking about right now at $1,400. Well, even at that number right there, no, so you got a $600 child support order. I apologize. 600. Just let's say bottom end $600 a month. You making $1,800 a month. That's a third of your salary gone every month. So you got $1,200 to pay rent, between $800 and $1,000, plus gas, food, and all these other different utilities. And the person who put you on child support is a lot of times in the same situation that you're in, if not a worse situation that you're in. So who does it help at the end of the day? Again, you're talking about over 130,000 active child support cases in the state of South Carolina. And the question remains, the ultimate question remains, why is this damn computer lagging like this? What is going on with my internet? I'm hardwired to the damn Ethernet. TNT. Now we're completely frozen. Sucks. But again, the ultimate question remains, if somebody can't afford to pay, what's the purpose of putting them in jail? I don't know. Get in the comment section and tell me what you think. We'll talk about this again because, again, it needs to be talked about. 1 in 8. 1 in 8.